No, it really did today though. I'm like all like just nonchalant, just taking care of business, and it's like
Right.
then I notice, oh yeah, we're supposed to be live. Good morning, Daphne.
Good morning. Oh, realize. Oh, okay. I'm still working here.
Oh, dude, yeah, my bad. Yes, hey, Daphne,
Yes. What?
we're live. We're
Oh,
live.
okay. Yes. All right. Hold on. Let me just finish
Oh
something right
shit!
here. Oh
There's
my
my
goodness.
notifications.
Oh
Good morning,
no.
everyone. It is July 31st, 2023, and this
Oh,
is the Ragin 2, the vlogs, the most
don't they know?
disorganized show in comics.
Don't they know that the end of the month is tough for us? The end of the month is when we're rushing to do things that we should have done 3 weeks ago.
Oh shit! Like keep talking, Daphne, because there's something important.
Oh
Oh wait, no.
no.
I'll do it while we're live. Nobody will
Oh,
notice.
okay.
Nobody will know I'm still working, right?
Oh no, I don't think so. Well, yes, they will, but
Are you ready for this?
absolutely not, especially today. But hit it.
Ta-da!
Oh my goodness. Look at that.
Good
I'm
morning,
trying to
Daphne.
get good morning. Yeah, I'm trying to get
Yeah.
shit working here. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, it's you know, let's see. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. It's like, yeah, I'm just trying to like I don't know, get myself together, and it's like, what what still needs to be done, at the end of the month. And it's like, of course I have to do it like 10 minutes before we go live.
Yeah, me too. Guilty.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. But really though, I can't believe it's already the end of the month. This year is going by way too fast, and I don't know. It's like I just feel like I'm not getting as much stuff done as I want. But I think that that's always though. I think that that's always.
It's never enough. Never.
It is never enough. But at least it's not sweltering in the office now. I think we finally caught a break in the heat wave.
Ha! Can't say the
And
same.
yeah, and it's like, well, and at least I mean, I still have my pile of towels here. But at least it's a lot more comfortable than it was like several days ago, because holy moly, it was like I was baking. I felt like I was living in an easy bake oven.
Yeah, it's been hot as hell.
Yeah, really. Oh, so who's joining us in the chat today? Before
All right. So
who's
far,
joining
we've got
us?
Grant Lankard. Good morning,
Hello,
Grant.
hello.
Joseph.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
good
Good morning.
morning, good morning.
Victor Medina. Good morning,
Hello.
sir. And HR, but not our
Hello.
HR because we get
Right,
away.
right.
We get
HR
away.
is in the other room. But yes, hello, HR. And yes, I see you, my not sweaty eyeball people today. Hopefully it lasts. We are going into August where it's supposed to be sweaty. So, but yes, I see you watching us from regions beyond. Thank you so much. Oh, the wallpaper. We have the wrong wallpaper up.
Oh,
Hold
dude.
on. Yeah. Hold on.
Fix that.
Poof. There we go.
Oh, okay. Oh. All right. Now we're a show.
Wow. This is how much we were just like not paying attention this morning. Yes. And like I said, if you are watching us from Facebook, if you're watching us from Twitter, yes, come on over to Facebook and join the sexy people in the chat, because Facebook, YouTube. Yes, join us on YouTube, sexy and our sexy people in the chat. No matter what happens, there's always sexy people in the chat. No
Always.
matter what happens. because Facebook has a tendency to act up, and Twitter doesn't even allow us to see your comments, and LinkedIn is LinkedIn. So we're still working on it.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is, but I'm using it.
Yeah, exactly. So welcome everybody to another edition of the Ragin to the Vlogs show. Whatever this is,
The most disorganized show on earth.
Yes, and you still come to watch us to see what happens. So, that's the way it goes. Thank you so much for joining us. And hello, everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and you know what that means.
I got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere else to go. I got nothing else.
So you got a handle on the cards, Nita, or should I keep an eye on that? Because I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales. Thank you so much for everybody who's pledged the last Kickstarter so far. Like I said in a previous show, the first batch of the rewards for Or So I Thought, the full color Tall Tales book, is already out. Some of you may be already getting them as we speak. I'm going to be packing the last batch, the last 19 orders for that campaign. So I will be sending them out probably either tomorrow by Wednesday, definitely, because I really want to get the rest of this out before we launch on Friday. And speaking of launching on Friday, I am also known for mature audiences medieval fantasy drama Eager Raven, Heir the First Unicorn, which returns to Kickstarter with issue 7. And check out this piece from our fan favorite Jaden Lanning. Jesus Christ, every time I ask her to do a piece, she always has to top herself.
She does. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's like, look at that beautiful, beautiful slappable face for my garbage son. Really, and I mean, really, it's like if anyone deserved a nice open-handed slap, it's him, and definitely in this issue. In this issue.
Yeah.
So yes. In the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. And to tell you more about it, here's Nita.
Yeah, I'm Nita, and I write and edit, and I produce the Indie Comics Network, and there's shows and stuff, and join us, and you can find us at indiecomicsnetwork.com.
It's .com. Cut.
I can't help it. My goodness. Yeah. So you had so I guess it's like because usually we do a little update in the beginning, but I guess you want to save that for later. But
you want to run the bumps for Jose and yeah, let's run or not bumps, but pull them up. You want to talk about them? I'll bring them up.
Okay. So yes, brand new, everybody, brand new project. Just when you think JD Calderon hasn't been putting out enough books. He has a brand new project with C. Michael, our very own C. Michael Lanning, Magi's Grace, which is now on pre-launch right now on Kickstarter. This is a 4-issue miniseries, supernatural fantasy, urban fantasy, I guess you could call it. Magi's Grace, a story of a sorceress and her muscle as they hunt down the things that go bump in the night because it's very inconvenient and they get paid extra. And of course, the Oswald Chronicles is also returning to Kickstarter as well, again by JD Calderon, who cannot be stopped. The Oswald Chronicles, the next chapter in the series, The Light That Attracts, I think it's another 4-issue miniseries. That's also on pre-launch as well. So make sure that for both these campaigns that you hit the notify me button so that you get notified the second the campaign goes live and you don't miss anything. What else we got? Oh yes, and just a reminder. Oh, yes, Baltimore Comic-Con. I will be at Baltimore Comic-Con September 8th through the 10th at the Baltimore Convention Center at Baltimore, Maryland. I will be in the Artist Alley with the latest issues of Eagle Raven and Tall Tales, and some really rare furry sketchbooks. That's probably going to be your last attempt at getting them. I have very few left. And and if you wanted to add to your collection of my nonsense, you can get it all in one place at Baltimore Comic-Con. So come on over to Baltimore. Come say hi. Say you if you say you if you mention the show when you come visit me, I will give you a very rare and even rarer Ragin 2 holographic sticker.
Oh
Which
yeah.
I do not have. Which I already have them packed away. So yeah, so if you come say hi, yes, you will get one of those holographic stickers just by mentioning the show when you come up. So thank you so much. So speaking of Baltimore Comic-Con, I have been furiously continuing my packing adventure for that convention. I'm telling you, I'm actually really excited. I haven't been excited for a convention in a long time. And I don't know. I guess it's because I'm watching all these Artist Alley videos, trying to hype myself up, and it's working. So for those of you who've been following my PDF selling PDFs at conventions project, so you would know that I will be selling Eagle Raven Volume 1 as a PDF. If you don't want to or can't get the physical copy. So I will be selling that. And I made a companion book. So now you will be able to get Tall Tales of Volume 1 in PDF format. It unfolds into a mini poster as well when you pick this up. There is a QR code on the inside so that you can download the PDFs for these trade paperbacks. The trade paperbacks are going to run for I think the volume 1 for Tall Tales is $25. For Eagle Raven is $35. But you can get just the PDF for $10 each, or if you buy both PDFs, I'll give it to you for $15. So if you want to check out this, actually, I think it's a pretty neat deal. I might say, outside of Kickstarter, I think it's a pretty neat deal. So come on over to my Artist Alley table so you can do that. So if your library is full, or you're the type that likes to read on your iPad or on your phone, I make it easy for you. So right there. So there you go. I'm actually pretty chuffed with the way these
I am too.
I'm very happy. I mean, depending on how well they do, I might make more. I think that I came to the conclusion that I think that these work best for trade paperbacks. I really didn't think that doing individual issues was kind of worth it. But you know what? But if you do want to try a PDF version of the individual issues, you can always sign up for my mailing list, which you can be able to do at the show, and you will be able to download a sample copy of Eagle Raven, the first 3 issues of Tall Tales, Thieves Quest, and the first 3 issues of the Oswald Chronicles as well. So technically, you get more free PDFs just for joining my mailing list. So there you go. But if you want just the trade paperback, you can you can pick it up like this right there. So I thought that was pretty neat. Also, another thing that I was setting up, as you know, on Friday, we will be launching Eagle Raven issue 7. And I've been putting together some mystery packs. So the first people, I'm finally putting these together. So the first
rewards.
Yes, are going to get a mystery pack of rewards from previous campaigns. So we're going to get some pretty cool stickers, postcards, trading card, and whatnot. And of course, being mystery packs, there will be chase items in these bags. So 4 lucky people will be able to win, a keychain, an Eagle Raven keychain. So 4 of you out of the 40 will be able to get one of those. Another 4 of you will also get another chase, the I don't know, the booby truck the mud
The
flap.
mud flap. The mud flap.
Unicorn silver sticker. I mean, it's right. This has got to be one of my favorite stickers that
for
I've
sure.
made on this campaign. I mean, it's like I remember. Oh, there it goes. I remember when I was on a stream with Nita and I was laughing my ass off when I was drawing this, and she had no idea what I was. I literally made it up at that moment, and then I showed Nita. It's like, look what I just did.
She did too.
You know,
True
and it's like,
story.
yeah. So 4 lucky
Seen it.
people will get this sticker as well, and another 4 people will also get a metal bookmark. So you might be one of the lucky 4 as well out of the 40 who will get like a metal bookmark, either the green or the red metal bookmark. And 1 lucky person will get this alternate nude cover bookmark, metal bookmark. This is, I think, from one of the very early on campaigns, and this is the last one I have. So if you have this one, so you got the front and the back. So, but so yeah, so those are going to be our chase. These are our chase items that you might be able to get in the mystery pack, but. Yeah, but everybody else, so the first 40 people will be able to get this at physical backers. Will get this added to their. Yeah, I know, right? To get these. Hey, hello. We'll get these added to their orders. Yeah, so you'll get a whole bunch of postcards and stickers as well. But a few lucky of you will get the chase items. So good luck to you. When the campaign goes live. And here's the thing too, another reason to make sure you pledge on that first day. I reach 40 physical backers really, really quickly.
Pretty quickly. So may the odds be ever in your favor.
In your favor, exactly. So if you want to get one of these packs and get a chance at winning one of the chase items, so make sure you pledge on that first day to get them. So yeah, so I'm just in the middle of making that as well. So what's going on with you, Nita? What's going on?
I am currently uploading videos that I should have put in this StreamYard last night. I'm working, Daphne.
Yeah, I know. It's like it's kind of like we didn't remember what we had to do until like 10 minutes before we went on the air.
Well, I got slammed with a bunch of last minute edits and stuff.
Right.
So it was like I took time off doing that. Plus, I've been
Right.
doing a lot of adjusting on social media. Doing this, I'm juggling with
Right.
because it's not even Twitter anymore. It's just
yeah, I know. It's kind of like a cat hacking up a hairball.
Oh, look, look,
Right.
and they're not even called tweets anymore.
Yeah,
it's something else.
I mean, you know, look at
Oh,
that.
look! Hey, good morning. Hey, Odin.
Right? Okay. Hey, Odin. Oh, yes. So Odin was. So Odin was at. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, so Odin was at Otakon this weekend, and that's also one of the other conventions I might be looking at for next year. Going because that's also in Maryland, and yeah, and that's kind. Well, no, I think Otakon is in that's in DC, but it's close enough that again, it's like if the whole thing with my sister in Baltimore works out, I'll probably do the same thing with both Katsucon and Otakon in Washington, D.C. Like I said, I've been watching all these Artist Alley videos, and a lot of them are from. So I hope you did really, really well. I mean, it's like you were showing off. You were showing off the Bizarre Adventure. I forgot that SQRP Bizarre Adventure comic, and the hollow foil, and it looked just absolutely beautiful on the table. And I hope those the anime I hope the anime fans really latched on to that. So there you go. You get an anime parody and you learn history at the same time. So yeah, so that's also another one of the conventions that I'm looking at going. But with anime conventions, I'm really focused that I'm only going to go there if I have the Eagle Raven Tankobons ready for that. And honestly, with these covers that Jaden has been doing, you know what, that's going to be a project that's sooner rather than later. Like, honestly, it's like, because of, if I could have those books, if I can get those books ready for next year, so that I can do anime conventions, I mean, I will. Because that's something that I've spoken about before, kind of like doing my books in different formats, to see like what kind of reaction I can get from them, and seeing like what's viable, and I always had this thing that it's like, I think that, we all talk about how we're trying to get like a next generation reading our comics. And sometimes I kind of think that because this generation now, they're so used to reading things on their phone, they're so used to buying manga, that format might be something to, there we go. SPQR. There we go. that's the name of the comic. So check out Nine Realms to pick up your own, to pick up your copy. I can't wait to get my physical copy. I'm just really tickled by the book. So, and doing it and changing, kind of like changing my format so it fits more of a familiar format for this new audience. I mean, in the end, it's like, that's the reason why I'm trying this out, because it's like, there's some people who it's like, well, the physical books are expensive, but I read on my phone, so at least there's an option for that. And it's the same thing with doing a new format, like kind of like a manga format for Eagle Raven and for Tall Tales. Because I probably would do both. I would probably do a Tall Tales manga format and an Eagle Raven manga format, and then I would take those to anime conventions and see how that kind of goes over. So it's like, and especially, like I said, especially with the covers that Jaden has been doing, it's like, what, I can really see it in my head how it's going to be laid out and look like, and I really do think it could work. I really do think so. So anime conventions might be on the docket for next year. So just me being experimental with my stuff. Now, if only I can convince Jose to actually make manga-sized versions of Oswald, we could probably, like really take advantage of this, because I think that if anybody has a book that would really benefit from that format, 'cause it's already in black and white, it's already thank you, Nicholas. That is the idea, because after all, I have been studying the Blade with the 1 hour content plan, and that's kind of like part of the entire process of trying to get more people to look at my work. But so yesterday there was a kind of like dovetailing into this conversation about getting more people, like how many, like like getting more eyeballs on getting or on our work. And so yesterday, Jose had the topic on the Talking Comics on a Sunday show. If you missed it, it's on the playlist. You can go check that out. They were talking about whether like the direct market is really is really worth the effort. I mean, pretty much. It's like it is the direct market a viable option for what we do, as small publishers. And of course, Ben Dunn was on there. Tom Hutchinson was on there. A couple of other people were on there. Marvin Wynn, there was Marcus, I forgot his last name. He was on there. And they were talking about how the direct market, what the direct market means to them, and the difficulties and the hurdles. And pretty much it all boils down to, it depends, as Jose likes to frustrate me with. It's like, it depends whether it's worth it for you. And, it's like there's always, so it's like a lot of people have this thing where it's like, oh, if I'm in comic book shops, it's like, that's like the ultimate goal, because you'll get all these people on there. But the hurdles you have to go over through Diamond really makes me question. It's like, really, is it though? Is it worth it? Especially, and then what happens when Diamond doesn't want your book? It's like Marcus was saying how he couldn't get in, that he was rejected by Diamond. I have been long banned from Diamond. So I can't get in the catalog at all, so at least not with Tall Tales. And so what happened when that's not an option? It's like, because a lot of people in the chat were putting a lot of stake on you need to be in comic book shops because you'll get eyeballs, you'll get exposure. It's good exposure. And exposure is one of those words that just makes me cringe, as it should, because it's like, and I had to mention, it's like, Mount Everest is covered with the bodies of people who died of exposure. And it's like, not all exposure is equal. Just because you can get into Diamond and you can get into comic book shops doesn't mean that exposure actually translates into something. Although, Jose was saying that he does think that there's a connection between being in comic book shops and being on Kickstarter, that there is a crossover. But here's kind of the catch, though. You have to sell enough books to be able to make it worth it to be in comic book shops. And if you can do that, then Kickstarter is just a bonus for you. It's not really, you can get that like how Boom Studios was able to cross over being in comic book shops and their Kickstarter. Right. Bad Idea. I think he said it was like one of the former owners of Valiant, or one of the I forgot. It's someone from Valiant who did. It's like, it's the same thing. Like, they have the number 4 most highest funding book of the year so far for 2023, and they don't have a problem being in comic book stores. It's like they're going to have that crossover. But, but Marvin was talking about how even though he was able to get in comic book stores, he didn't sell enough for it to be worth that effort, especially since that there's a bigger financial commitment to have to go through Diamond than if you just did Kickstarter. So, so it's just like a lot to think about. That's like that not all exposure is equal. Like, I kind of think that the 150 people that I get buying my book directly on Kickstarter is a much more valuable it is much more valuable to me than going through Diamond and getting in a comic book shop and then having like that whole maybe of will it cross over, when I know on Kickstarter for a fact people are buying directly off of me. So, and I don't have to split that money with anybody but my vendors to get everything, like to get the books published and shipping and whatnot. So that was
desperate.
Yeah,
desperate.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, again, it's like they may be desperate, but they
but good,
also,
dude.
The financial commitment on my end is still the same. You still have to sell X amount to be able to make up the fact that you're splitting it with Diamond, you're cutting in the retailer, and you don't know what kind of sell-through you're getting. You don't even know. All you know is that you're selling to comic book shops, not who you're actually selling to at the shops. Hey, hello, good morning. So like I said, it was a lot to think about. I just find it really funny. Not really. I find it not surprising that so many, let's say, for that question becomes whether or not your audience has grown enough to be distributed by any means like Diamond, if your work can grab those who are cold based on physical product presence. Right. And the problem is that I don't really trust comic book stores like that. It's like it's long past the phase of being like something a casual person can walk in, and usually people go into comic book shops looking for specifically for what they want and then leaving. And every year there's less and less shops. It's not like that's growing. So like I said, it's a lot of food for thought. The episode, if you want to check out more of that conversation, that's exactly that's the problem. That's the problem, because you have to make up for the cut that you have to give everybody. You have to literally give your middleman. And so yeah, if you want to catch that episode, You can it's in our playlist. It's Talking Comics on a Sunday with JD Calderon. So it wasn't unsurprising that a lot of people in the chat really thought of being in comic book shops as like the end all, like that's like, oh,
Right.
that's how you know you made it. And the conversation kind of expanded into, oh, it's like follow your dream. You don't know whether you're working on the next Harry Potter, don't stop, if do, it's like that whole thing. It's like you never know when Netflix is going to drop $10 million in your lap. And what's really funny is that maybe in the past, to me, it's like when I was a lot younger, when we were starting out, that was like obviously something that we had in our heads that, we're all making the next great thing, and we're all making the next X-Men or whatnot, or the next, Lord of the Rings or whatnot. And, it's only a matter of time before, our greatness is discovered, our greatness is recognized. And now that I'm much older, wiser, and maybe a lot more cynical, it's like, as Nita so put down in the chat, it's like you realize it's like, or at least I realized, now I'm not special, you're not special. There is no gold pot at the end of the rainbow. There is no $10 million. There is no Netflix deal. You're not writing the next Harry Potter. There is no Uncle Mikey. And it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say it was irritating, but I think it's a disservice to hear so many people buy into that it's like, oh, it's like, I'm doing my comic because I'm going to win. I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be. And it's like, talk about the odds not being in your favor. And I really did think that now it's a disservice to tell people that, follow, it's like, do comics, do comics because you never know. It's like, it's kind of like, look, I mean, the lotto, right? That's pretty much, that was a tagline for the lotto for the longest time. You never know. It's like, you just, it's like, oh, you never know, and it's like, there comes a point where these types of kind of like mental exercises, these thought exercises are meaningless. Like the whole thing about what happened if a studio gave you $10 million for your property. It's like, it's like, because everybody says they won't sell, but $10 million. It's like, well, one, the money's fake. It's not, I don't have $10 million in my lap. So right. I'm not, it's like, so it's kind of like, it's a useless exercise.
And if I did, I would not be here and we would not be discussing this.
Right. Exactly. But the thing is though, is that, like to entertain the conversation, I thought about it for a split second and it's like, you know what, I'd rather, it's like, honestly, I'm at a point in my life where I would rather die doing Ego Raven than have $10 million in my pocket from selling her off. And it's like, because because it's like me doing Ego Raven is it's a self-indulgent pleasure that I have. It's not really about, I didn't start making this book because I was going to, I thought I was going to make $1 million off the project. It's like, no, it's a self-indulgent pleasure that I do to make myself happy. As much as I hate the process of making it, that's
for sure. Because guys don't even try to move them, man. It's like, you want to go. Look, if I fucking ran across an indie comic at the fucking Double Play here in Baton Rouge, I guarantee you I can go back there today and it's still there. I just got to go dig it out.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, so it's like, it's kind of, so the thought exercise is pretty moot. Although at the same time, it's like Jose says, like, you know what, let me worry about that problem when it actually happens, when I come across it. Right.
Yeah. Right.
Which is also easy to say, because like I said, statistically, it's not happening. I mean, like most of the time, 99.9%.
You mean to tell me we're not going to have a legacy?
No.
How dare you shit on my dreams, Daphne?
Yes, I am. And you know what? And you know what? And you know what? Let's see. Let me bring this up. Is yes. You want your legacy?
Ha!
This most likely will be your legacy for the fleeting 10 minutes after you die. So there was this article that popped up in the New York Times. Actually, I originally saw it on the ElfQuest fan page because there's actually a little interview with Richard and Wendy Pini in this article. So what this article is about is when collectors die, their family face a lot of decisions, including what to do with 100 Superman figurines. And it's literally hardcore collectors, comic book collectors who are finding themselves in this situation. This is what the specialty. More times than I can remember, a spouse or child has said to me, if he wasn't dead, I'd kill him all over again for leaving me with this mess, says Greg Rohan, president of Heritage Auctions. For those of you who don't know Heritage Auctions, they are the auction house that specializes in comic book collectibles, comic book artwork. We actually went to a gallery showing by Heritage that actually led us to getting a tour at Continuity Studios several years ago. Actually, it was pretty fun. Heritage Auction at the time were doing a gallery showing of Walking Dead pages that they were auctioning off. And so this whole article is about what happens to people's comic book collections when they die. They talk about Maggie Thompson, who ran Comics Buyer's Guide. Let's say she goes, I realize as I look around my rooms, my family is not going to know what things are, because she's collected so much stuff. And yes, and some of this stuff is valuable. But here's the thing, though. It's like you say it says like those rarities and their enriched owners aside, collectors can have a disconnect from their families. I'm not going home and talking to my partner or kids about what I collect because 9 times out of 10 they don't care. And this is the problem. Carl Heitmuller, 58, runs the Daily Superman on Instagram, where he highlights his Man of Steel memorabilia. He has grappled often with the fate of his collection. All the people to whom I plan on passing on my collections are close to my age, he said. So it's a crapshoot. Who is going to kick first? So pretty much the people who would be interested in his collection, they're all his same age. You guys are all going to die at the same time.
Look. I told Chris the other day, I've got a box for the kids of stuff that we know is valuable. That's it, this long box. And then I have another one of great comics, but my kids aren't going to be interested in this shit. So if I die first, this box goes to Daphne. Like, seriously.
Oh, my goodness. And it's probably most of my stuff anyway.
It is. Well, a lot of it, some of it's fucking sketch covers, which by then would be like, you'd be
right. Yeah. So here's the section with Richard and Wendy Pini, whose comic book fantasy series ElfQuest debuted in 1978, wrestled with what to do with her body of work for most of their professional lives. Over the years, they have amassed thousands of pages, including all the original art of the series, which was edited by Mr. Pini 73 and drawn and written by Miss Pini at 72. He would never envision selling off the work individually. Mr. Pini said it would have been heartbreaking to sell it piecemeal. Selling the artwork could have been lucrative. There are art dealers who come up to Richard at conventions, Miss Pini said. They've never met him before, and the first thing they say is, you idiot, you could have made millions off of selling the artwork. But Wendy said, no, fuck off. I'm keeping all my pages, which she did. But now here's the thing. What happens now? I mean, it's like, they're in their 70s. And it's like, look, the Stoics talk about the concept of memento mori, remember that you will die, and it's like, it's kind of a bummer of a thing to think about. But, but the thing is, though, is that, when I look around my office, I mean, it's like, it's like the thought that my entire work is going to end up in a landfill. I mean, I think that's probably the most heartbreaking part. But the thing is, though, is that, Do what with it? It's like all the concept of Memento Mori is for you to think about and enjoy what you're doing now, right. And it's like, and that technically it's like there is no legacy, because it's like, because it's like, as we read from this article, which, like I said, is on the New York Times, so for the Peonies in this case, because they don't have children, their knight in shining armor came in the form of Karen L. Green, the curator for comics and cartoons at Columbia University. And the Peonies bequeathed their work to the college. So now it's like it's going to survive as an academic archive at the college, that I guess like students that will be able to have access to and actually be able, because it's like there really is nothing more thrilling than seeing original artwork, honestly. I mean, I know that I developed a keen appreciation for Jack Kirby's work when I finally saw his work in person, close up. The same thing with Neil Adams when we got that tour at Continuity Comics, to see his work in the flesh. It really, it's really something you have to appreciate. You can see photos and reproductions all you want, but seeing it in person is a completely different experience. Now, the thing is, though, it's like, so what this article was talking about. Now, the thing is, though, if you go see this article on the New York Times website, you have to read the comments. It's one of the rare times when I would actually encourage everybody to read the comments to this article, because the comments is filled with people who, it's filled with two types of people: the people with the collections who think they're building a legacy for their children, and their children who are outright saying, "Bitch, when you die, I'm renting a dumpster." And it's really kind of like, on one hand, it's really disheartening to kind of like realize that for a lot of these collections, for a lot of things that you are doing, that you think you give it like a lot of this importance, and what it is, and then what happens is that when you're finally gone, your family doesn't think so.
They don't want your fucking toys.
They don't want your toys. They don't want your book. They don't give a shit about the cute little comic you did on Kickstarter. They're not interested in continuing your IP. They're not, they're not interested in archiving your work. And I don't know. It's kind of like, talk about a tough thing to really think about.
Unless you're lucky, because there are some of us who do have kids who do tend to seem to be wanting to follow in the footsteps. So but that's different. That's the rarity.
Well, but also, and that's the thing, and that's what it seems like, especially when you read the comment. That seems to be the rarity. What's pretty much everyone is telling each other now is that, look, if your collection really is that valuable, do something about it now. If your IP, if you really do think that your IP is that valuable, do something about it now. It's like, because you know what? Because you're the only one who thinks it's valuable. And and it's, and it's like, so it kind of dovetailed into the conversation yesterday, because it's like this article was really fresh in my head, and then it's like to hear everybody think, it's like, oh, I'm making the next Harry Potter, I'm making the next Walking Dead, and it's like, I can't help to think about the scene in Pulp Fiction when Marcellus Wallace is talking to Butch, the Bruce Willis character, and he's talking about, it's the scene where he's telling Butch that he has to drop in the 5th round or something. I forgot the term for it or whatnot. He has to throw the fight, right? And he's telling Butch to get over his pride. That it's like, if you were meant to be something, it would have happened already. And it's kind of a fucked up thing to say, but also I think that I think it helps put what you're doing in more of a perspective. The whole concept of Memento Mori. Yeah, that's true too. But it's funny, that was also mentioned in the comments. That's also mentioned in the comments, that it's like, what, if your shit is valuable, what a lot of people don't realize is that just leaving it to a museum in your will doesn't obligate a museum to take it, doesn't obligate a library to take it, doesn't obligate a school to take it. And they said that the one thing that a lot of people forget to do is that it's not just about bequeathing your collection to an entity. It's also leaving behind money so that they can actually catalog your shit. So they can actually go through your pieces and verify the value of it. Because it's like a lot of people, they just leave their garbage and that's it. And then what happens is that it ends up in a storage facility and nobody sees it again because nobody has the money or the time to actually catalog it. They're talking about people who it takes years to sell off a collection properly. If you really want to get what it's worth, it takes years to sell it off, even if you're eBaying the shit. And it's like, what? Most people are already, when you die, they're going to be already dealing with the trauma of you dying. They don't want to deal with, well, they said that this shit was valuable, but you know what? I ain't got time for that. Just call 1-800-GOT-JUNK and get it out of here. So, so that's kind of, so that's kind of the thing, it's like, it's kind of tough where it's like, like I said, it's like, if you think your shit has value now, do something about it now. It's like, although, like I said, especially when it comes to like self-publishing comics and doing Kickstarter and it's like, look, you may think you have the next Walking Dead or the next Harry Potter, but like I said, odds are you don't, and nobody else thinks you do either. And it's a hard pill to swallow. And and the thing is though, and it's like, and once you realize that, like once that you have that thought in your head, the next question is, it's like, if it wasn't for the fact that you have this, dare I say, delusion about what you're doing, without that delusion, would you still be doing what you're doing? Like, it's like, is you doing comics all prefaced on the idea that there is going to be a studio somewhere down the line who's going to offer you $10 million, that you're going to be Eastman and Laird for some reason. You're going to be the next Eastman and Laird. That you're going to have the next, that you're going to be hitting the next zeitgeist any minute. I kind of doubt that. And look, and here's the thing. It's like I said, it's like, I completely consider myself in this because, like I said, I don't do comics because, yeah, right. Right. Exactly. It's like, was there a point very early on doing this that we thought that, yeah, it's like, we have the next best thing? Yes. Every kid grows up with that idea, that they're going to be the next Disney, they're going to be the next Stan Lee, that they're going to be the next whatever, right? At my age, that truly is a delusion. So what do I have left? Yeah. What do I have left without the delusion? I have a comic that I love doing and that I'm doing anyway. Like I said, it's like, in the end, it's like, look, and here's the thing too. Here's the thing. Yeah, exactly. If you collect it and not catalog it, that's what people in the comments were saying too. If you're not,
if you're collecting it and just sticking it on a shelf like I do, you're just playing with toys, people.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not even a collector, and I'm not, because I don't want my kids to have to deal with that. I mean, there's certain things I kept, but most of the stuff, it's just shit that I absolutely want. I didn't look at it for value or future value. Because if I was doing that, I would have had the fucking headless Nick Stark Funko Pop.
Well, right, but nobody
picked up and held in my hands and thought about it.
Very specific people think that way, that they only look at things specifically for future value and they make that calculation. But these are not people who are enjoying things. No. I mean, it's all about the buy, the sell, the buy, the sell, the buy, the sell. Right. So like I said, it's like, if I take out the delusion of being rich and famous and whatnot off my work, if I take that delusion out, what do I have? Yeah, exactly, John. I create my comic from my own sanity. It's like, look, this is, in the end, this is a glorified hobby that I share with people. And that the fact that I have people who actually buy my work and enjoy it. It's like Jose wants a Viking funeral. He says, just burn all my shit. It's like, just put it on a boat and burn all my shit with me. And it's like, you know what? Okay. Okay, fine. We'll do that. So it's like, so again, so just like sitting back and say the way I see it is this: I may one day look back on my life as a comic creator and feel like I wasted my time, but if I worked in a cubicle, I would have definitely felt like I wasted my time. Amen to that. And honestly, though, creation is not a waste of time. No. I think that for the people who do think it's a waste of time, it's because they're following this mentality. It's a waste because it didn't make it big.
It's a waste because it didn't monetize the way they dreamt it to.
Yeah, exactly.
Never mind the personal and creative growth that comes from each project. But whatever.
Exactly. I mean, and I think that it requires, it requires that self-reflection. Why are you really doing? You take out the delusion. If you sat back and says, like, you know what? No Netflix deal, no $10 million. We're not getting rich off of this. This is not paying for anyone's college. I mean, it can barely pay for a meal at Subway.
I bought a Starbucks once with the profits I made. I did. I paid for my own coffee, and I took a picture of that shit because it was the first time 100% in the black that I bought something based off work.
Right. Yeah. It's like, why
years to buy that fucking coffee.
Right. It's like, why are you doing what you're doing? Once you take out the delusion, once like, okay, because everyone's always willing to say, well, what if you got $1 million? Well, for your IP. Well, here's the question. What if nobody offered you anything for it? What if you spent the rest of your life working on this property and nobody gave a shit? The studios didn't give a shit. Executives didn't give a shit. Nobody wanted your shit except you and whatever circle you were building on Kickstarter. What if that was what happened? What then? Because I've seen plenty of people say that's like, well, if it doesn't hit a certain monetary value, I have to stop doing it.
Okay,
bye. I've seen plenty of people. The road, since 92, the road is littered with bodies. Okay. They put out that first issue. They didn't make $10,000. You never see them again. Oh, it didn't do what I wanted it to do on Kickstarter.
And then sometimes you're lucky if you ever even see the book.
Well, that's true too. Yeah. Because then they decide, it's like, well, I'm not putting out a second issue, so I don't need to bother putting out the first one, even though all these people.
And you should.
Yeah, right. I agree. I couldn't stop drawing either. But so this article kind of like had me real. Like I said, the comments, the gold is in the comments section though. I mean, like literally, it's like, and mind you, we're not just talking about comics. We're talking about your grandmother's Hummel figurines. You're talking about your mom's China collection. You're talking about your dad's collectible cars. There was one guy said that his father collected classic automobiles, and when he died, it just didn't matter what the collection is. The family was like going, what the fuck am I going to do with this shit?
Right.
Like it didn't matter what the collection was. If you have a collection, show me a collection and I will show you people who are going to hire a dumpster when you die. You know, but see, here's the thing. I mean, it's like, that whole thing, like follow your dream and that type of thing. I mean, it's like, it's a strange platitude. Because it's a meaningless phrase. It's as meaningless as saying, what if somebody offered you $10 million? What if you won the lottery? What if the moon were made out of pudding? It's like, it's that as much, that's how meaningless the phrase is. Because the thing is, though, is that what we're doing is not dreaming. We're not dreaming doing this. We're doing this. This is a physical thing. We are awake. It's like we're working on our comics. We're not dreaming when we're working on our comics. We're actually physically doing them. It's this is the reality of what we're doing. So what does that mean to you? What does you look at what you're working on, what you have in front of you right now, what it means to you right now. What does it mean? It's like everything else aside, when you remove, it's kind of similar to the conversation that we had before. It's like when you take away all the speculator variant cover nonsense, it's like, when you take away your ability to cater to a speculator bubble in Kickstarter, what do you have left? If you didn't have the variant covers, what do you have? What is it that you have that interests people if you didn't have anything else? If you didn't have all those variant covers, if you didn't have the Shikari cover to crank your, to blow up your campaign to $75,000, what if you didn't have that? What's left? What's your book? What's your story? What are you doing now? What does it mean? And that's kind of like the whole, like I said, it's like that's the part of the Stoic philosophy of Memento Mori. Remember, you will die, so cherish the now. Cherish what you're doing now. What you're doing now is what's important, not whatever delusion. Your past is gone. Death owns that. That's also another thing that the Stoics death owns your past. Death is not the future. Death is your past, because you don't have that time anymore, and the future doesn't exist. So all you have is what you're doing now. So what's important to you now? It's like, what are you doing now? What does your book mean to you? What does your IP mean to you? Without any of the trappings of delusion. Like I said, no Netflix deal. There is no studio chomping at the bit for your Batman but different shit. Right. It's like there's, it's like there's nothing there except what you have. So what does it mean? What does it mean to you? If this is all you have, what does it mean? And it's like it's not, and it's like, I know that this isn't kind of like the happy-go-lucky, episode that we usually do, but I mean,
wait, we usually have happy-go-lucky episodes.
I don't know, because usually we just don't know what we're talking about. So it's like, I don't know. But the thing is, though, think about it. It's like, the whole thing, Richard and Wendy Pini, they've been doing this since 1978. They've pretty much saved every piece of artwork. Wendy has saved every piece of artwork from her entire career. What if there was no Columbia University?
Huh.
What if there wasn't anybody who wanted the collection? I mean, what then? It's like, do they then start selling it off piecemeal to get money that they have a very limited amount of time to enjoy? And look, and it's not like they're not enjoying their lives now. I mean, she saved all that artwork. Dealers are going, oh, you idiot, you could have made millions. It's like, well, it's not like she's suffering now. I mean, the dealers are more upset that they don't have, it's like, they don't have those pages, those ElfQuest pages to make bank on. That's what they're upset about, that they don't have access to those pages. Like they have a right to it or something. And it's like, but like I said, it's like, the thought of, the thought that when we die, that we will be that our work in the collective sphere will be forgotten within a week. Dave Sim stopped. He was a phenomenon during the 80s. He finished Cerebus at 300, and within 6 months, nobody knew who he was.
Wow.
It's like within 6 months, people forgot that he existed. David Peterson, Mouse Guard. I've always said from the entirety of his career that man was on a hamster wheel when it came to the popularity of Mouse Guard, that it was a hamster wheel he had to keep spinning, because the second he stopped, everyone was going to forget his book. And these are people who made it. We have companies that are literally actively making the effort to separate the creator from their creations. How many years is it going to take for people to think that Disney created Star Wars?
Huh.
How many years is it? Look, I've already seen people who think that Marvel created the concept of Thor and Loki.
Yeah, it's happened.
I've already seen people do that. It's like fucking goldfish have longer memories. So it's like to think, so to think that, that it's like, that your IP, like that your IP is so important right now that it's like when you die, it's not going to be lost to time within the week. I mean, really, it's like, look, honestly, I think the kindest thing that I could say to everybody is that you are not special. It's like because you know what? It's like, I think it's easier to plan what you do around that concept than it is to plan around the idea that any day now Netflix is going to offer you $10 million for your IP.
Right.
99%, 99.9% of the
99991.
It's not going to happen. So you have to plan for the 99.999% that is your reality. Yeah, and like I said, it's like just thinking about, like I said,
you're welcome.
The contents. Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, look, I know. It's like, look, I don't like the idea. Like I said, looking around my room, looking at all my artwork that I'm doing, and like I said, and like to think about it lining the bottom of a dumpster. It's like, look, I don't want to think about that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, so what do I do now? It's like, what does this all mean? I mean, does it matter? I see. And here's the thing too, that I want to really impress. It's like, don't allow this, because it's hard for me. It's hard for me because it's very, very easy to kind of sink into nihilism and go, then what the fuck is it all for then? What's the point? What's the point? If everything I do is going to end up in a dumpster, what's the point of doing it now? And it's kind of hard to think about that. And it's like, well, because you're alive now and you're enjoying it now. At least it's like that's the hope. Yeah, I know, really. That's another truth of it too. A lot of people, they never make it long enough. It's just like, so that's the thing. It's like, I say, what does this mean to me now? And work from there. It's like, because in the end, that future doesn't exist. And even if it did, you have no control over it. You have no control over it. The only thing that exists in that future is that you remember you will die. That's the only given. And as this New York Times article as this New York Times article says, it's like, you know what, no matter where you are, and no matter how valuable you think what you have is, you're probably the only one. Unless you really, really go out of your way to make arrangements to prove that you think it's valuable. And, and if not, just ride it, ride your time for what it is, and, enjoy the shit out of it.
Enjoy the now.
Enjoy the now. Enjoy what you have now. Enjoy what you're doing now. Because like I said, the past already belongs to death and the future doesn't exist.
So party like this potato.
So, like I said, sorry, not sorry that I had to do this depressing episode. But you know what? I think, like, combined with this article and the show from last night, it's like, you know what? I think it's a conversation that's not had enough.
Right.
It's like, do what you love, do what you enjoy, but also realize the reality of what you're doing. Yeah, so that's all I got for today. Any final ones, Nita? I'm sorry for
I was gonna run over some Kickstarters, but now it's like, no.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's like, look, you know what? Look, I'll promise you that on Friday when we launch Eager Raven issue 7, we'll have a much better time. Then every narcopath that sees my shit thinks they're going to be a millionaire. They're delusional. Try to make them change. It's not going to happen. Shit is on since 2008. Look, like I said, the road is littered with those bodies. Yeah, people don't like being sober about being creative. I mean, like I said, this article, look, I just hearing that Richard and Wendy Peeney are in their 70s is kind of like, oh, it's like, oh. It's like, yeah, and these are people who were part of the zeitgeist, like they influenced so many people,
they will have a legacy,
but the thing
through
is
other people,
because
I know kids now, they're that, I think they're really going to be in that point one somewhere, because you'll hear about ElfQuest. Everybody always goes back. Even newer kids are going and picking up ElfQuest. Like I had somebody asking me for where they could get the Dark Horse volumes.
Right.
Yeah. But even seeing them with this mindset, it's like,
right. Yeah. That even they know that it's like, okay, this shit has to go somewhere. So yeah, so like I said, I'll promise a more upbeat episode next on Friday when we launch Eager Raven issue 7. But but I just thought that this was like combined. I just thought that this was something that is very.
Are we going to be giving away stuff besides depression on Friday?
You know what? Let's do that. Yes, we will be doing that. We will be doing that. So remember that if you're the first 40 physical backers on the campaign, you will be getting this goodie bag with some really, really neat chase items in the mystery bags. You might get a metal bookmark, a keychain. My infamous mud flap Eager Raven sticker. And I'm certainly going to dig up some stuff that we can give away at the end of the show, to everybody who pledged to physical levels on the campaign. So that's pretty much it. So it's like, look, like I said, sorry for bringing everybody down, but I just thought that it was a conversation that we had to have at least once, so just to put, food for thought for everybody, to think about. So
I will send you to Jesus.
Certainly that, I'm sure. So any other thoughts?
I am good.
Right. Okay. So there you go. So thank you everybody in the chat for putting up with us today. Thank you so much to my eyeball people who stayed the entire episode. Like I said, it's like, you know what? Sometimes you just have to have these important conversations. whether we like it or not, me included, So, but like I said, don't let the conversation send you into nihilism. Instead, it's like allow it to actually confirm what you're doing and what you love in your life and why you're doing it. Let it confirm that, and what you're doing is worth it, no matter what happens, no matter what the outcome is. So if you want to learn more about me and my artwork and everything else that's going on with my future campaigns and whatnot, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook. If you're interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress updates and any live updates, that I may have. I do have a link to the article on my Facebook page if you want to check it out as well. But I'm sure Nita will also put it in the show notes.
Everything can be found in the link tree. If it came from a specific creator and they said they were going to post the link, hit their link tree. You'll find it.
Right. There you go. And also remember, you can find me on YouTube about every Wednesday at 4 o'clock, 4 to 6, my own live stream where I'm drawing and yapping at the same time. I will be running a live stream this Wednesday. I have a lot of work to do. It's going to be the beginning of August. So It's coloring time, baby.
Yes.
So we're going to be doing that. So join me on Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern to join me on my live stream. And remember, you can read Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, for free, uploading every day, Monday through Friday. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a free Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales, TAILS online.com. And not only can you read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, you can catch up on the latest story arc, Tears the Mother, which is also currently uploading Monday through Friday as well. And like I said, Ego Raven returns to Kickstarter Friday. Join us on the vlogs. We will be launching the campaign live for issue 7 of Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn. So we'll be seeing you then at 11 a.m. Eastern. Like I said, we'll be giving away some stuff. We'll be showing off the campaign, showing off these beautiful Jaden covers this beautiful Jaden cover that she's done, and everything else. So join us on Friday at 11 when we launch the campaign. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And remember, in the words of the ancients, because they talk a lot, they got a lot to say, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work. Because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. Thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.